What is going on, Charles Botensten here? It is Saturday here in the office. I just got done with my triathlon training. I am a little bit pooped, but still really good spirits. So I wanted to go over a book that I had no expectations, and obviously I'll keep it up so you guys can go and buy it. It's very small. It's only about just over 100 and something pages. And I was actually reading it slower than normal. And the reason is because I had no expectations with the book. And actually, I was quite blown away. And I think you should go out and buy this. Solving the Procrastination Puzzle. And it's a puzzle. And the reason it's a puzzle, bear with me for a second. So we are animals. We're mammals. We have to think of ourselves, and our nature is not just 50 years in the making. Okay, a lot of people, we want to think, well, just because I want it to be this way, it will be this way. Just because I want money or the relationships or whatever I want, I want it, so it's going to happen. Now, nature says, I want you to live right now. And you need to live right now because that's how you survived. Okay, we did not survive in buildings with lighting and protection. We lived out in the wild where there's disease and war and creatures and things that wanted to kill us or people that wanted to kill us. So we grew up like this, okay? Looking around, and then when we were around our tribe, we socialized, and we're not doing any of that. So what does that have to do with procrastination? Is that before we actually had consciousness, this thing, I know I have a little zit right here, before we had consciousness, we just lived like every other animal. Most other animals they're not aware of their being. They're not aware that there's gonna be tomorrow. They just live right now. They just live. They live. That's ideal, by the way, is just living, okay? Because you're not worried about the future and you're not concerned with what happened in the past. You're in the present, as Eckhart Tolle talks about, and pretty much every other philosopher. And if you want to go to the Bible talks about that as well. Just be present. I don't think those were the actual words. But then we came up with something right here, the frontal cortex, okay, the frontal lobe, that essentially said that we now have a discerning of our being, our death, our mortality, that we're alive, and with that, we're able to actually procrastinate. So in other words, if we were hungry, we had to get food on the savannah. That's living in the present. When we are, that makes us feel better, okay? Our body says we need to do that. We like running, we like to exercise. Those feelings were natural back in the day because we did that. We had to do that for survival. It wasn't like we exercised. We exercised back in the day for survival, running away from a predator or chasing down one to eat it, okay? I don't care what you have to say, is that nature will always win, okay? Procrastination is a new thing. It's something because even up until maybe 10,000 years ago when the agricultural revolution came, or farming, however you want to say it, is that we started domesticating animals, we started growing crops, we started partitioning land, all those things that were not there for millions of years, okay? So when that happened, procrastination happened. Procrastination is, I should do this even though life is a little bit easier. I know that someone else will go to war for me. I know that someone else will farm for me, and all I have to do is just trade. I just have to barter for that money or for that water or for that land. Okay, that's when procrastination happened. So that's the puzzle. I'm going to get to why we procrastinate. So like I just said, is that we chase these feel-good hormones, okay? So procrastination essentially means that we are pushing something into the future that we want to do that benefits us, okay? And with that is a feel-good hormone because we're not doing it right now. If I said, do you want to exercise right now or do you want to exercise tomorrow? You're probably going to say tomorrow. And the reason you're going to say tomorrow is because that feeling of exercise, that dread of exercise, or whatever it is for you, that dread of approaching that pretty girl, that dread of saving money, that dread of taking money for taxes, that you don't want that feeling, so you push that feeling away, okay? So you stay in the happy feeling of comfort, okay? Doubling that, on top of that, is that you feel noble that you're actually considering doing something, okay? So bear with me for a second, and this is exactly the point of the video. All of that has come to this, is that we get a payoff for not doing it right now, whatever it is. You know, making calls or writing an email or starting a book or whatever it is, okay? We get a payoff by not doing it right now. That payoff is the feeling that we are avoiding the feeling of potential rejection, of potentially feeling bad. So the payoff is actually feeling good by pushing it off for tomorrow. The feeling is also good because we actually say, good for me that I'm actually going to start tomorrow. I am going to exercise tomorrow. So you're really lauding yourself, patting yourself on the back for actually thinking of exercising tomorrow. You're like, that's a good idea. I am smart. I am awesome. And I also don't have to do it now. So that's two good feelings. So procrastination actually makes sense why we do it. We laud ourselves that we actually are considering waking up early or exercising tomorrow, and we're also feeling good right now because we don't have to do it right now. That's a complicated way of saying nature intended us to procrastinate, okay? It is not natural to not procrastinate. That is why it's so hard, okay? So you're thinking in your mind, wonderful, Charles, that actually gives me an out. The problem is, and what they talk about in the book, is that you actually feel worse when you don't do it. You actually get stress when you don't do it, when you don't save, when you don't approach that pretty girl, when you don't make sales calls, when you don't go for your goals. So there is an immediate payoff by procrastinating because you're not feeling bad about rejection of making cold calls. And you're also lauding yourself because you're going to eventually do it. But long term, you get stress. Long term, you have regret. Long term, you're in debt. Long term, you're not in a relationship. So right now, nature is on your side. Long term is nature's also against you because your mind says, I wish I did that. I wish I actually saved. I wish I went to the gym. I wish I paid attention in school for this test. I wish I studied more. This book actually surprised me. I'm going to do a full review on it Monday. Hopefully that helps. I don't know what you guys are procrastinating on, but this video, it's a very convoluted way of saying that, and I already mentioned it, is that we have to get into the mindset of saying, stick to the process. Stick to, this is part of the process. We don't, and as they say in the book, we don't like failing. We don't like taking something up new because we're not good at it. We're not good when you first make calls. We're not good when we first get out of a relationship and we start talking and dating to the opposite sex or the same sex. We don't like studying because it's a totally different topic that we don't know. And it's going to take us a long time to learn it. Okay? If you actually saw the mountain in front of you instead of on TV, maybe you say, maybe I can't do that. But when you see it on TV and you say, oh, I could climb that mountain. But when you're standing in front of it, you say, oh shit, this is actually a lot higher than I thought. I'm going to procrastinate. I'm going to procrastinate on whatever it is. And I'm just going to leave you with this, is that those years and the Slight Edge, the more I think about it, is so vital. The Slight Edge is a great book. It's also, Darren Hardy also wrote another book called, oh man, what's the Darren Hardy book? I forgot it. It's in my brain right now. But essentially, the small tasks, the small, minute tasks, it's everything. It's not quantum. There is no quantum leaps, okay? There may be a quantum leap But guess what? That musician who had that one-hit wonder, or that musician who or that actor or that actress, someone that hit success really early on, maybe as a childhood star, where are they now? They're still talking about it years later. What about that one person that busted their ass for years, decades, then was picked up on Malcolm in the Middle, and then was on one of the biggest shows, which was that guy who was a teacher who also grew meth. I forgot the name of that show. That guy, his book, something Cranston, it's an amazing story. So, the small little things, and the time will already pass anyway. Those 5 years, while you could have been doing what you want to be doing, is already going to pass anyway. So why not start? Okay? And I know you're going to say, you know what, Charles? I'm going to start tomorrow. It's exactly what procrastination is. It's exactly what procrastination is. You feel good now because you're not doing it, and you also feel good because you say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. That's two feel-goods. That's procrastination. Don't regret things. And I know you're going to say, yeah, I'm motivated. Stick to the process. You will have bad days. You will be tired. You will be hungover. You will skip a workout. You will not make good calls. You will get rejected. That will happen. Stick to the process every day. That's it. Have an amazing day. Talk to you guys soon.